Tēnā rā tātou, tātou mā, ko hoki mai anō rā tātou ki tēnā wā, te wā ki Hawaikirangi. Tēnei o tātou hōtaka aroha mai I roto I tēnei wā, kua tatarua ngahuru mēniti, tere iti mai o te tīmatahi atu o tō tātou hōtaka, tō tātou mātou hōtaka I roto I tēnei wā. Hoi anō, kia whai atu tātou ki ngā kōrero te wā I roto I Hawaikirangi I tēnei rā, I tēnei haora tonu. He haora tonu tata ki te tuangahuru mēniti anō hoki. Kai te toe. Kai te pai? Tētahi mea anō karakau a te pēne I te tae ki te whakangahau I a tātou ki te tuari wai ata ki a tātou I roto I tēnei rā tonu. Koia tērā hoki tētahi o ngā āhuatanga karakau āhau I tīmata pai, ki te haurua mai I te toru, I tahi karakau I tae ki te hara mai. Hoi anō he ara tētahi, koia anō kai te hara mai I roto I tēnei rā, kai te whā o ngā haora, te whā e hara mai ai, te kōrero mai ki a tātou, me te whakamārama mai I etahi o ngā āhuatanga o te pēne, me te tuari mai I tētahi o ngā waiata I aia, me etahi o ngā āhuatanga e kōrero hiai e māiwa, he āhuatanga ki a me ki ngā mea nunui ki a mātou I roto I a tahu. Tētahi mea no I whakaaro nui ki atu anō ai e mātou I roto I te pēne, pai ki atu ki a waiho atu ki tētahi wā, tētahi wā ki atu anō, tērā tū āhua o te tuari waiata ki roto ki te taupuni, ne? Kia hau nā pai ki atu, tētahi mea no āhua māwiwi āhau, āhua hāmare āhau, nō nā pō tonu hoki, no tērā pō tonu I tīmatari ai, āhua rewharewa haere ana hau I roto I tērā pō, ana I nā pō kai te haere tonu tērā tū āhua, ana me te hāmare ōku, I tēnei rā tonu anō hoki āhua hāmare āhau, me ngā āhuatanga o te rewharewa kua pātu nei ki āhau. Hoi anō he hui anō nō hoku, koia rā nō etahi o ngā mea I reiti ana hau I roto I tēnei rā. Karakau te pēne I roto I tēnei rā, hai aha rā e tātou mā, no te mea rā he nui anō ngā wā, ana, kai te wā tonu, ka hoki mai anō ai āhau, whai tonu ai e mātou he wāno ki te tuari waiata I roto I te taupuni ki a tātou. No reira, meri kirihimete, meri kirihimete me ngā mihi o te wā ki a tātou e whakarongo ana mai, a kua hoki ake mai. Kia hinoi rā tātou, ne? Te hiawe atua, nā hau nei anō ngā whakaritenga, nā hau nei anō ngā huatanga e whakatakoto e whakatauira tia atu ana kia mātou. Kia mātou o tahu e tino whakaroha tia atu ana ngā mea katoa e nunui ke atu ana ki te whatu ngākau, ki te whatu manawa o mātou. Tai atu anō hoki ki ngā mea e nui ke atu ana ki a koe. Te iawe atua ko koe ia anō e whakahonore atu ana I a mātou ki tēnei taonga nei. Tēnei taonga o te pēne nei. Tai atu anō hoki ki tēnei puoro. E whakanui ake nei e mātou, e kawe atu nei I ngā kōrero, ai ngā take o mātou. I ngā āhuatanga, hai waiata e mā mātou, me ngā waiata whakanui atu anō i a koe, koropiko tonu atu anō i a koe, whakamana tonu anō hoki i a koe, i roto i ngā tū āhuatanga katoa. No reira nā, te rungarawa, te ia wi atua, whakamue miti, whakanui. I te ingoa te iehua, karaiti, tō mātau, ariki tō mātau, pou whakaora, ake, āmene. Kia waiho atu e a hau te he mene i tēnei rā, no te mea rā kua taia ke mai, a Rob, tō mātau kaiwiwi kōrero, kare anō, ka tahi anō a Rob, ka tae mai. Hoi anō, kia āhua whakarite atu e a hau a Rob, kia huri atu tātou mā ki tētahi waiata, mai ngā kuini o roto i te puoro, ko ia e rā e tahi kai te whakanui tonu e a hau, tai atu anō hoki ki o mātou tuari waiata, ko ia e rā katoa anō e tahi mea hei whai atu mā mātou. Hoi anō i tēnei rā tonu, aroha mai. Kua tae ake mai Aroha, ki te kōrero mai kia tātou, ki te kōrero mai, i e rā mea kōrero atu ana e ahau i mua tonu i honei. Tai atu anō hoki ki te tuari mai, i tētahi o ana waiata, i roto i ia mea ana mahi, e rā mahi e tahi pēne kai roto ke anō e tahi o ngā pou pēne kai roto i e tahi pēne waiata atu ana i e tahi waiata no reira kai te tuari mai te tahi wāna waiata i roto i tēnei rā. Tai atu anō ki te kōrero atu i ngā huatanga kia mātau i roto i te pēne. Ngā mānoko hanga o mātau, ngā mea nunui ke kia mātau. Tēnā o mātau. Ana. Hai kōrero katoa no e rā, i roto i tēnei rā kia māiwa ko Rob. Hoi anō, i roto i tēnei wā, ko Sevana mā, ko Elise mā, kai te waiata tia tētahi o a rātau waiata, ngā kuini o te puoro ki Ngimangu, e haere ake nei. Kia ora mai rā tātou, kahuri.
Make we juggle.
Make we juggle. Fantasize, but say Lord, him sweet, so sweet, so sweet, so sweet. Anytime him pass me skin me teeth, him had the melody and him had the beat. So we tweet.
Don't now mess up move. No. We just a walk and a move. Come make we rock and groove. BBC One Extra, we are happiness in our life. No, you used to suffer in a day, whole night. Oh, some must suffer for the rest of my life. Show up, make sure you grow up. Live a good life, that's your for keep up. I'm good, so me ease, I'ma lay back. Me see the trouble, me I leave that. In my shoes and my tank top, yeah. In my jeans I cut off on my foot. In my shoes with some bright color socks. Time out, but me now go with no flip flops. Cause I now miss how my mood. We just a walk and a move. Go make we rock and groove. Hey, what we are tell them say come on again. None now miss how my mood. We just a walk and go through. Go make we rock and groove. Say but not tell them, tell them.
BBC for Holland pulling. Just like up in a movie. A big bad exclusive. We make evil like usual. Holland pulling. Just like up in a movie. A big bad exclusive. We make evil like use. Don't be used. Used. Don't be used. Alright, first verse. Ever think about the way we walking?
Yes, we walk.
Through all destruction, we ignore the signs. Things we say and do, they are appalling. But we get so amused every time.
Tell them now.
Now I'm not trying to preach to you, but it's a fact we ignore the truth. Getting dragged around where our roots.
We were our rules now.
Do you see? Do you see how we're falling? See how we're stalling, stalling. Don't you feel? See how we're falling. See how we're stalling, stalling. One more time, say for Holland bullet. Just like the being a movie, a big bad exclusive. We make evil like you. Holland pull with. Just like the being a BBC, a big bad exclusive. We make evil like you. Don't be used. Used. You like on the mic.
So when you play for me, I hear a song.
For me, I hear a song.
Every word you say feels like a poem. BBC One Extra. I wanna take you with me everywhere. Listen to you every day. Oh gosh, my sweet inspiration. Yes. Now when I feel like I can't do what I'm supposed to, and I can't even pick myself up out of bed. What? You come around with so much energy, fill us with such melodies. Oh gosh, my sweet inspiration. BBC, when you feature us, we feel a vibe. Every time when you drop, we feel the style. Oh gosh, I wanna take you with me everywhere. Listen to you every day. Oh God. you ever, have you ever, have you ever been in love before? Yes, big up Dennis Brown. Before,
Auntie Marcia. Auntie Marcia, this is for you. When you're in love,
it's a lovely life. When someone asks you
to be his wife. It is so good for you to settle down, and it doesn't pay for you to run the town. Yeah.
Wait. Alright then. I'm a DJ. Come true. Say, find the love I grow. Rather than my life is a young market down. Warrior to them up I go and tell them say the warriors now go run. They go find the love I grow. Enough of them my life is a young market down. I warrior to them up I go, but tell them say the warriors. Baby say, I feel good.
Bam, bam.
I want the daddies dancing to a berries. Feel good, feel good. I feel good, my baby. Feel good, yes. When you perfume it to me, it's a love. That's all I can talk about. Feel good, feel good. Wherever I'm there, hey. Feel good, treat me good. Do what I should. Feel good, I feel good. Hey, please do me. BBC make we feel good. We're so good. We rockin' and groovin'. Hey, we rockin' and groovin'. Can we say nothing now? Yeah. Nothing now, mess up we move. Like I can say, we just a rock and a move. Come make we rock and groove. BBC one extra big up, you say yeah. Nothing now, mess up we move. We just a walk and go through. Come make we rock and groove.
For your ball and pull, bad energy.
Haul and pull away. Just like the peanut. Yeah, a big bad exclusive. We make evil a use we. Haul and pull away. Just like the peanut movie. A big bad exclusive. We make evil a use.
Peace of mind, mind. Oh, mine. Yeah. Let me tell you about him. Chuck, him nice, you know. Say, Lord, him nice. So nice, so nice, so nice. Never catch a vibe that felt so right. And when him not around, I close my eyes and fantasize. Me say, Lord, him sweet. So sweet, so sweet, so sweet. Me inspiration and him the on the beat.
What want him talk to
Him
you
the melody and me at the beat.
Say when he speaks to me, I hear a song. Speak to me, I hear a song. Every word you say feels like a poem. When you say feels oh gosh, I wanna take you with me everywhere. Listen to you every day. Oh gosh, my sweet inspiration. One more time,
Shawty B, you speak, we hear a song.
oh gosh, I say we hear a song, Shawty B. Big up to the sound. Hey, I am big with it. I have it to say. We've come to the end of the session. You better come back to Jamaica if you want the next one.
Right on, no.
It's a rock everyone.
Yes, indeed.
If I don't stop you, lot, you're not stop.
Rocking
and grooving, this is juggling. Rocking and grooving. Rocking and grooving. Rocking and grooving. Pull up, dirty, pull up. And
Indignation, the wickedest thing.
if I never stop them, we'll be here forever.
If you enjoyed this, like and subscribe and click the bell icon to keep up to date. For more great audio and video.
Kia ora mai rā tātou, kua hoki mai anō rā tātou, kua hara mai a Rob, kua taia ke mai. So let us, in a couple of moments, get into the kōrero with Rob. It's awesome to have at least two of our band here and able to discuss some of the kōrero around the band, but there, like I was saying before, there are other pursuits of Rob, and the same with other members of the band, and Rob and Keith in particular, but Keith isn't here today, he couldn't make it in the end. So it's just Rob today and I, which is fine. I think that's really cool. And and so we've got, sorry, I've just got a couple of messages there, Rob. More messages. They've been hitting me all day. Messages. I should have turned stuff off today, but I couldn't because I had some important stuff to come in most of the day, and meetings most of the day. So, and I couldn't get out of my last one. Very, very key meetings as well. Rob, kia ora, Rob.
Kia ora, Kaea. Nice to be here.
Yes, kia ora. It is nice to have you here, Rob. Rob, we have managed to get you in today. Keith couldn't make it. Keith's busy at the shop.
Keith's got to help out at the music shop. And,
right.
And he's a man who takes his responsibilities very seriously.
Yes.
So he's helping out and he had to be there. But he's here in spirit. And you mentioned the band, and I feel very honoured to be included in your band.
Yes.
And the band had one practice with a percentage of the band being present, and your leadership, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun.
Oh, I think a slow, gradual way into it is that's with you guys involved, eh? A gradual way into it is really, really what we need, because for some musicians, sometimes you have a lot less of an affinity with reggae music than perhaps what might have been considered before a bit different. And then some members you've got do have an affinity with the music, they just don't play it that well and need to practice and get more knowledgeable on it. The other thing though, Rob, is that when we got that practice underway, I thought it actually went quite well. I think for a starter one, I think we did really well.
Well, there was a bit of pressure to get organised to play today. And once that pressure was off, because we knew we weren't going to make it. And you didn't even bring your instruments today.
No, so, I couldn't get them in the end.
So we're instrument-less. So we're a band that's talking about a band.
So even if we got the band here today, those who were going to make it today, we wouldn't have been able to play anyway, because I didn't have the stuffing, so I didn't have time to get them. So, it's been a real busy one today, but most of the days have been like that. But I'm so happy that you've been able to make it, Rob. I need to emphasise to that sometimes what we're going to do, Rob, is play songs from the Queens of Reggae. But because they're one of our major themes at the moment for Hawaikirangi, which is our show. Our show is Hawaikirangi, and we feature tahu. Tahu is the name of our band, all of those who don't know. And tahu means tahu maka ka nui matua. I'll just clarify this, Rob. Tahu maka ka nui matua, it stands for that. It also means tahu, sizzling hot. Sizzling hot. When something is tahu, is sizzling hot. That's a marvellous way of sort of description of us. I think it's more what we like to appear to be.
We aspire to.
We aspire to, and tahu, of course, the darlings of tahu maka ka nui matua. That's what we are. A tahu is a darling or a sweetheart. So there you go. 3 classical meanings of the word tahu. And we are doing a lot of work in terms of producing music in reggae that will A, describe a lot of the struggles of Tahumākaka Nui Matua in the Western Division, and B, also, that's a heavy one, but also just mainly share our love for reggae and, in fact, share the love. Yeah, that's the major aim. Yeah. But yeah, just a couple of little deeper, meaningful aims in there, Rob. Yeah. But can you tell us a little, Rob, about some of your work that you've currently done, just before we get into the band stuff? Yeah. I noticed we dive straight in there, and that's okay. But let's look at some of your work and what you've been doing just briefly.
Well, I was born in Masterton.
Kia ora.
And was brought up here. I went to boarding school when I was 10, so I had a different connection with home life. Because I was being at boarding school, then the matron and the teachers and the headmaster and my friends were far more influential in a sense than waking up in my bed at home. Right. And so there's an adaptation that goes on. Us boarding school kids, we adapt, and home is a place we go for holidays.
Right.
So I've had holidays in my home in Masterton, and I left and went to university after being at boarding school and trained as a doctor in Otago and Dunedin.
Right.
And found a whole life there, a whole another family and another level of aspiration and learning skills that helped me contribute, really. Right. And I was lucky to be brought up in quite a devout Christian family, Anglican Christian. Right. That stream goes way back to my great-great-grandfather, who arrived here as a missionary in the 1830s and settled at the mouth of...
That's right, Mornsel. Tell us a little.
Yeah.
Tell us a little.
So he was an Irishman, went through law school in Dublin, and at the age of 26 decided that the whole legal and political system in Ireland and in Great Britain was too corrupt for him to participate in it, and he saw the opportunity to follow his calling. He really had a calling to be a missionary, and he joined the Anglican Church. I think the Anglican Church is busy in Ireland. We're talking County Limerick, where he was brought up.
Right.
But you think of Ireland as being pretty much Roman Catholic, but somehow he was Anglican and trained at the missionary school in London, came out on a ship to New Zealand, stopping briefly in Sydney. He worked with Samuel Marsden there.
Right. Yeah, everyone knows Samuel.
They settled in Russell, where he had his first job as a chaplain in a church in Russell, and then he was posted to the mouth of the Waikato River and lived there, set up a station with a school and a farm and his family, and involved himself with the local Maori. And the local Maori extended way up the river.
Awesome.
And out into the country around there. And he took on very quickly learning Maori. And he learnt to write Maori. He realised that Maori needed to be able to read.
And he produced the written...
And then he created a grammar.
The grammar. Oh,
the original grammar of the Maori language was written by Robert Mansell. And he had help from William Williams, who was one of his Anglican colleagues. And then they translated the Bible. Mansell translated the Old Testament from Hebrew into Maori, and Williams translated the New Testament, and so together they could give give the Maori their parishioners their own Bible to read in their own language, and they've learnt very quickly. From what I gather, the Maori were very receptive to the Anglican message. It wasn't that different from a lot of the things they were already doing, and in some ways, of course, the knowledge of the spiritual world is much greater and much more developed and much more of interest to Maori people than it is to Anglicans or perhaps the Irish people with their Celtic roots will have a connection to the spiritual knowledge. But I don't think the church-based knowledge is particularly wise on the spiritual world. It's more a matter of faith and practice. So you pray and then you're with God and then you receive instruction or guidance, and that's more the method of the Christian approach to the spiritual world. So that was part of my knowledge of learning about myself. And then as a young man, I met the work of Rudolf Steiner.
Right.
You might know about Rudolf Steiner. He was an Austrian, Austrian philosopher and teacher. He did 2 PhDs in his academic training, so he was Dr. Steiner, but not a medical doctor. He was a doctor of philosophy.
Right.
And he studied the works of Wolfgang Goethe, who is one of the great intellects and creative geniuses of the German culture, probably equivalent to a combination of Shakespeare and Francis Bacon in the English world. So that was embodied in Steiner. And he taught about the spiritual world, and he created a body of knowledge which was picked up by the Anthroposophical Society, which became a vehicle for his learning and teaching and training and all that. And I was lucky enough to meet that when I was in my mid-20s and incorporated that into my medical work. So I can now think of myself as an anthroposophic doctor. And that's what I do each day when I go to work.
Brilliant.
And I try and bring a spiritual knowledge of the human being to my understanding of what people are struggling with. And fortunately, it's well received. It's of great interest. And we have the language now for talking about the different levels of the spiritual world. Of course, the plant world is the initial step beyond the physical world. If you look at the plant world and you think of what goes on there, how life works, how rhythm works, how life and death work, regeneration works, healing works, and you've got the etheric world.
What I'm loving about hearing all of that, Rob, is the extreme alignment it has with reggae music. You know, in fact, all of our music that we're into, just can we marvelous kōrero, Rob. Rob is a very special member of the band of Tahu, but he also does other music. We'll try and quickly get on to a lot of that. If Rob, can you tell us a wee bit about that? A lot of that music.
Well, when I was in my teenage years, I had a huge affinity for music, and I had friends who learnt to play instruments way beyond what I could. One of them was a local doctor's son, Bill Nelson's son, Stephen. And we used to, in the holidays, buy the latest Beatles record, take it into the Nelson family sun porch, and we'd learn how to play 4 or 5 or 6 of the songs on the newest Beatles record. And Stephen had this gift for being able to work out the chords, work out the main melody. The words were often on the cover of the album, so you didn't have to try and work the words out, they were already there. And he would teach me the harmony part, and he'd play the guitar, and then a little bit later on I got a guitar, so I'd play rhythm and he'd play rhythm and lead. He could also play keyboards. So we had a little Beatles band going. And it was like, this was another world for me, because I was quite sporty. You know, I played cricket, I played rugby, I went skiing, I played tennis, I played them all quite hard and well. I was lucky I had a physical attribute. Stephen didn't have that so much, and he was a bit asthmatic. So he would work on the music, and I'd come back from whatever game I'd been playing or training or whatever, and there was Stephen with the guitar. And we still play together. He's written me 2 songs recently that are going to go on to our new album.
Right.
But I didn't really take the music thing a lot further until I came to Masterton 16 years ago, and I didn't have any children at home. I had a partner who encouraged music. So I bought some gear and met Keith quite early on.
Keith.
I had wonderful Lenny Tafare as a teacher.
Right. Yeah.
And we
I forgot
formed
about
this
that.
band called Grafia, which originally was
Awesome.
It meant get right away from it all. Grafia, get right away from it all. And recently we've changed the name. We're still Grafia,
Oh, right.
but we're now grateful for it all.
Right.
We're just grateful for it all.
Yep.
And that
Yep.
doesn't mean to say we accept everything,
Yep.
but we realize that the best way to start engaging with anything is to be grateful for it.
Yep.
Because it exists.
That's
And no matter how bad it is or how good it is, we start by acknowledging its existence,
Yep.
and with gratitude, and then we can go on. And we often find the best in things.
I thought I had one of your flyers here, Rob, but I don't. It's probably
it's
here
in the
somewhere.
cover of the
It's
album.
probably-
You've got a bit of
Oh, you've got-
information there.
Right.
If you open
mean-
that up,
Right. Oh, okay.
you can pull that out. Pull
Got a
that
little-
that one in the
Little.
that-
There we go. There we
that
go.
comes out. Pull that
Okay.
out, and you've got some information. And that's a little bit historic. What's on the album? We're reworking some of those songs at the moment.
Oh, I see. I see. Yeah. So there we go.
Yeah,
Where's
there's Stefan
our
Brown
cans?
helped out on that album.
Stefan.
Claire Christian, and of course Stefan Schultz was in the band when we recorded that.
Yep.
And also Jordan Treadray, wonderful drummer, wonderfully passionate man on the
Nice.
percussion, side of life. And I'll bet he gets that reggae.
I bet he does. I bet he does.
Yeah,
That'd
we should ask
be
Jordan to
beautiful.
join the band.
Yeah.
He's a
for
bit
sure.
busy with children at the moment
sure,
and
yeah.
a couple of businesses.
Yeah, no, I thought we did really well. I for first up and slowly as we go, we got further than I thought that we would.
Well, we've got music to relate
That's
to.
why I
haven't we?
came in the way I did. I thought, let's
Yeah,
stay
yeah.
relaxed.
Yes,
Let's not
yeah.
try and achieve everything all at once. And boom, 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 we started achieving stuff.
Yeah.
It was just amazing. So, and it was the first time last night. Also, I wanted to make it clear that Tahu has a logo and the logo is in solid gold, TAHU, with a cross on the capital T for TAHU, and it's in solid gold. It's a hanging sort of logo, and we're going to produce that during the show, and we'll keep it up for you on the show. And also Rob and Keith just starting to last night join in with Tahu. It is really, really good to see. And people with a taste for music and who are able to achieve great musicianship are the sorts of people I like to work with, because funny as it might seem, reggae doesn't tend to, people don't tend to play reggae to its most authentic. I guess is what I'm trying to find a word to describe it. I guess
It's been popularised, hasn't it?
I think so.
And you need to go away from that popular.
Yeah.
It's a bit like jazz, Jazz can be just on the edge there of rock, just a 4/4, and you just slightly syncopate it, pull it back a
That's
bit.
it.
And
That's
blues, you see, and you don't get blues by playing rock.
No.
But it's the same chords. You've got to pull back into the blues consciousness.
Yes.
And the reggae consciousness is another one.
Yeah.
It's not the blues, and it's not country.
I like the way we moved into that, though, last night.
Yeah.
It was quite well. But I was trying to hold it there, but Keith kept wanting some structure, which was fine. He was right. We should have some, but at that time I wasn't interested in that.
No,
I just wanted us to keep flowing along with that feel.
But he
And
was
then-
keen to play bass, and he could have found that feel much more with the bass. I think.
I know. Wonderful. Let's go to a song break. Let's play another one of the Queens before we come back for some more kōrero on Grafia, and I forgot the other name, the new name. Oh, sorry.
Grateful for it all.
Grateful
it's
for
still
it all.
Grafia.
Oh, okay.
Kaea.
Sorry,
it's still.
sorry,
It's always
sorry.
Grafia.
Right.
Yeah, because it can be.
Yes. Okay, all right. We've got Judy Mowat coming up. Judy Mowat is a woman that, just like me, she turned Christian and from the same faith as I was. And so she is a bit of an example to me of how someone from the same faith, from the Bobo Shanti, from the 12 tribes of Israel and Ethiopian Orthodox Church, can move into a particularly different sort of setup in terms of a faith. It's really, really different. But what one of our interesting subjects is the spiritual. So we'll touch on that some more soon, and we'll talk some more about the band soon. Kia ora mai rā tātou. I had some other information there on Tahu, but I'll get back to it later on. All right. Judy Mowat. This one is I'm Not Mechanical. Nice number. All right. Kia ora mai.
Politician.
Yes, no hoki mai, everybody. We have lost our picture. Yeah, our pictures on from the Queens of Reggae Music, but that's going to work out just fine because we can continue to play music. The only thing is you have to watch Rob and I grooving to it, eh? Hey, Rob?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's that one of the major parts of Tahu, major aims of Tahu is to utilise all of the different, there are 12 major languages of the tribes of Wairarapa. One of those happens to be Waitaha Rangi, which is where the tribe of Kahungunu comes from. So that was one of the special, that's what I had forgotten to say before, so I couldn't think of it. And so, that's always been a major aim of the show as well, of Hawaikirangi, and a major aim of Tahu as well, as a band, to play some in our compositions we'll use all the languages, and that's one of the languages included. Kahungunu hasn't got an original deal. Kahungunu isn't an iwi, so and there's no original deal in any evidence anywhere. There's no, they also do not have an ure tārewa, which is a third generation firstborn who is a paramountcy that from the third generation firstborn gives birth to a new tribe, which according to the crown was Kahungunu. Kahungunu was one of those, and that's false. We find, even in the language stakes, it has to be false because there's nothing belonging to Kahungunu. Huge, big story that, but at least we've got something in the pipeline, and we're the only ones that have that. We're the only ones that have the traditional stuff of the region. In Tūtahu Trust Tahu Investments Limited, our Pūtea Tautoko, Pūtea Moni Tautoko, and we love this sort of work, bringing in stuff that will help others. Even during our reggae show, we've done a lot of shows designed to help budding reggae musicians and a lot of those that are already out there to play reggae a lot better. And it's a very difficult exercise when you're on the other side of the spectrum. I'm a person that can play reggae and play it really well. I've played it for so long, 46 years. I mean, that's usurping most other people in the land who play the music. So most people are pretty much on the other side of the scale. So it's a sad case, and it comes through, and they all happen to be theory, most of them, that we find that are struggling with the music. And we get to that spiritual side of things, and reggae is just geared up that way. It's back to front. I say those are rebellious aspects of the music. It's back to front. It's upside down. It's inside out. Theory goes, oh no, it's this way. Everything is done this way. Reggae goes, no. We're doing it this way, and that's it. That's it. You know. And it's like its spiritual aspect is its concept is just amazingly its own. It's so unique. Reggae is so unique. It's in a world of its own, a class of its own. But Graphia. Tell us about one of the songs, Rob. Tell us about the one we'll go out on today.
Well, we've written about a dozen songs, which we play regularly. There's 8 on the album. The first song is titled The Archivist.
Right.
And that's about a character. I had a wonderful teacher and psychologist, my friend Len Lidbetter, who's a neighbour who wanted to help me write a song. And he remembered this character who they used to live next to on the outskirts of Masterton way back. And we called him The Archivist, and then we made up a story about him. And then we put music to it, which is kind of like a blues. It's a developed blues. We go on from there on the album to a song called Uncertainty, which is about a 16-year-old who she came as a patient of mine,
right,
and with her mother, and their expectations were amazing to me, what they wanted me to do for them. And of course, I couldn't do it because it was kind of against my principles.
Right.
And they never came back to see me, but I got a song out of it. And that song leads into a wonderful song which is encouraging us to realise our inner powers of creativity.
That's the one we're going to hear today.
No, I'm still getting to that. That's called You Are the Maker. We could play that one if you like. That's track 3.
Right.
We can play track 3. But track 5 is the one we're getting to, and that's called To Be Heard. which was the name of a mental health project, which I helped to set up in the Wairarapa when I first arrived here with the PHO. And we got funding from the Ministry of Health to do a lot more for patients in the primary care setting who needed help by seeing a doctor, having longer visits with a doctor, and going to counselling, which in those days was only available through the mental health services, and you had to be very sick mentally to warrant a service. So that's to be heard. There are some more songs on the album, and you can get the album at Sela Music in Queen Street. Steve Shavas has got a few copies there. I think we've got a price of, it's been reduced from $35 to $15. No, I'm teasing. I'm teasing. If you can't afford $15, please offer him $10. But you can get the album there, and it's also on YouTube. It's on iTunes, and it's on Spotify.
Right.
You just put Graphia in, and the name of the album is Ultimately Free. So sometimes the best way to find the album is just to put in Ultimately Free, and you'll see it there. A wonderful cover created by AJ Hunter, our graphics guy, and then the story of the band, and you can listen to the songs.
I'm all coffee and fiddly and all that sort of
But
thing.
you could sing last night.
I could, yeah, I did that pretty well, eh? Yeah. Only way I could manage that.
Yeah, you told us.
Yeah,
we won't.
I had to. I didn't want to try and keep it from you. I mean, I'll just tell them. But one of the amazing things for us is having such talented, such experienced guys with the band. We have other guys. We've got some special guys to tap into as well. Other special guys for the band to bring in with us as well. I can't introduce those guys. I can't let people know. One of them is a very well known person. He is currently not with a band, but I have spoken to him, and he's very keen to come in. And he's one of the top in his field. In fact, he's been the top in his field for the last 6 times. Very competitive person, but in his field, and is very keen to join with us. But I'm going to try and bring him in February to talk with us in February. So, and we've got one other person, a woman, and we'll see how she goes as well to bring in with the band. So you're one of the special people in the band, Rob, and Keith, of course. Coming with a very. I like the way you play your music. I just like the way it comes together, and it's very. There's a lot of complementary stuff that to you it might. I think it's mainly my genre. I come from a genre that appreciates the way music can fit together and how it molds almost perfectly sometimes. And reggae can do that for you once you played it for so long, and you've played it very successfully for so long. You start to appreciate certain things about music, about any music.
And you can reggaify regular songs, can't you? So the songs we've got on our album, we could work them through into the reggae version. Do the quietly going blues reggae style. That's the song I wrote about my old man. And the last 3 weeks of his life. Okay. And it strikes a chord with people. They love to hear it.
Right.
And the new song we've just written called 7 Black Swans.
Right.
It's about a gravesite where a Maori chief is buried. And the gravestones stand out white in the sunset. And there's a lake in front of the hill where the graveyard is. Okay. And the black swans are feeding on the lakeside. Okay. And then there's a reflection into what life was like for the people buried in this graveyard.
Okay. One of the things I wanted us to mention too, Rob, is that we're going to be doing lots of performances in the studio anyway in future. So for everyone out there who was hoping to see us perform today, we apologise fully for not being able to. It's been difficult to be able to get the right people in for a start. Sorry, see, there goes my coughs again. I've been terrible like that the last couple of days. So there was also another couple of people supposed to come in, they couldn't make it at the last minute. And I didn't have my guests, I just left it. Being so busy, I just left my gear and was hoping that they were still coming in and would bring theirs. So, too late by the time.
We have to be adaptable, don't we?
Yeah,
and you are,
sure.
you are. You've still got a smile on your face.
Yeah, bro.
Kaea, I'm going to have to leave you soon. I've got people to see. I left behind people knowing that I was coming back, and coming back is about the time now when I need to be back.
So which one should I play of yours, 5 or 3?
I think track 5. We've told the story, To Be Heard.
I'll leave it for that.
And it's got a character in it who was one of my very best friends, who didn't survive past the age of 46.
Right.
And he'd suffered bipolar affective disorder, which it used to be called manic depression.
Right.
A very clever guy. And you'll hear in the story on this track what happened, a little bit how he operated, and so it's a tribute to Richard, that song, and it's got quite a poignant message at the end of it.
Right.
We need to listen to your story. We need to listen to your dreams.
Yes.
We need to listen is the key message. We need to listen all the time and listen more, and not be too quick to come up with a response or an answer or a solution.
That's right. That's right. So right. Just for all those that don't realise that, we will have plenty of times to perform, and so everyone can still have a Merry Christmas, all right?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah,
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Everyone can still have a Merry Christmas, and look forward to when we do perform, because it won't be just once. We will come in and out of the studio with performers, possibly twice a month. Maybe.
Twice a month?
Possibly.
Yeah,
possibly twice a month. So we're going to do a lot of that. Another thing I've just been doing is for Tahu, finalising three of the singles releases coming out in 2021, during 2021. That'll be started recording on from March 2021. That's Reggae in Your Reggae and Hey. The love song, a girl called Hey, a woman called Hey, and also what's the other one? Quick! All the Glory, a worship song with a nice soccer feel. You know, that ancient one drop feel, and lots of the drums, but we've added Tahitian and Hawaiian drums. We've added our taste in there at a certain part of it, and we've also got one of the haemene, and that one's going to be in particular the song Te Yehua Atua Ariki. Rob, any last whakaaro, anything more you wish to share with our audience before I take it over to Be Heard?
Well, thank you very much for having me, Kaea. I think it's a wonderful initiative, and I'm really pleased to see how much support you've got, how much interest there is there. So a big thank you to all of you supporters, listeners, and fellow musicians, travellers on the musical journey.
Yeah.
And I look forward to getting to know you and being part of the process, especially next year and the year after and many years to come.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Kaea.
Thank you, Rob. Kia ora mai rā tātou.
Kia ora.
Kua huri atu tātou ki tēnei o ngā waiata grafia. I nā iana, karakau he pikitia o tēneina. Hoi, he waiata nā te pēnea Rob Mark o Keith Ma, rātau anō rā i rā i The Tin Hut. Tūari waiata anō ai mātau tahi ki reira, kai e tahi wā. I e tahi wā, kai te atu anō ai e tātou, he tā kēriata i e rā tūari waiata. Ai, mātau ko Rob Ma, ko Keith Ma. Kai roto anō nā hoki i te pēnei nā iana, to be heard. Kia ora mai rā tātou.
Is there a place where he can be heard and he can breathe with ease, where his troubled mind is not absurd of self-doubt? He can be free when life was lived at a slower pace. People understood that a drop of rain, ripples in all directions, changing the space, never again to be the same. He was a gifted man, not one to reach out, would make out he could be your hero. Of the torment he fought, and it took him down. He had nowhere to go, nowhere to go. Is there a place where he can be heard and he can breathe with ease, where his troubled mind is not absurd of despairing? He can be free. We need to listen to your story. We need to listen to your dream. We need to listen to your story. We need to listen to your
Kia ora mai rā tātou, ko grafia tērā, to be heard. Tērā atu anō o ngā waiata pai o mātau I roto I te Wairarapa. I roto anō hoki I a grafia. Ētahi o ngā mema o roto I te pēnei nā iana. Kua ahua tīmata nei nā ianei a Rob Raiwa ko Keith. Ki te whai atu I ēnei wawatatanga o mātau, I ēnei whāinga o mātau o roto, I roto tahu. Me o mātau whāinga nunui anō I roto I a mātau. Hoi anō I mua I te whakamututanga atu o ngā kōrero tēnei rā I tēnei wā kia whai atu ahau ki te inoi, te iawe atua. Kia whakamoe mititia koe ka tika, kia whakanui a koe. Ko koe I anō ka homai nei ngā hua, ngā kōrero, ngā huhonutanga, te wairuatanga o roto I a mātau. Me tau kaha pou tau tiaki, pou tau manaki atu anō I a mātau roto I ēnei mea katoa o mātau. I roto I ngā mea katoa. Kai roto tonu anō koe. Ia tātou me mātau. Ake, I roto I te ingoa matahi apo, a te iehua, āmene. Kai te whakarite atu ahau I te waiata mutunga. I pēnā hau, ko tērā hai waiata mutunga pēr, kia mātau I roto I tēnei rā. Hoi, kia hoki atu anō I nā iane no te mea he wātonu anō he mēniti tonu, kai te toi. Waiho atu I tērā, kia Eve, rāua ko Stevie, tētahi o ngā kuini, me tētahi o ngā kīngi. I roto I tēnei rā, meri kirehi me te kia tātou katoa. Kahuri.
Ladies and gentlemen, Eve.
When you think it's peace and safety, Yes, and destruction. Collective security for surety. Yeah. Don't forget your history. Yeah, so you know your destiny.